Welcome back to Trading 360. It's time for our 360 round on the payment space, looking at some of these stocks. Tom Plumb is with us, portfolio manager of the Plumb Balanced Fund. Stephen Biggar, director of financial service research at Argus Research. Thank you both for being with us. Stephen, I'll start with Visa, which obviously brought some good news along with it. Is Visa something different? How do you feel about the space overall, and where do you rank Visa in the names that you follow most closely as potential winners?
Yeah, hi, Nicole. So we do have a buy on Visa, and did like the report last night. I think the spending growth is there for consumers. That's obviously the best tailwind they could have. Consumers have jobs. They're spending. Even today, we got a pretty good read on personal consumption expenditures of 0.7 versus the 0.5 estimate. So, decent holiday season and continued good spending growth. Inflation has been kind of a tailwind for these payment companies as well. Visa is a name that consistently kind of grows its earnings in the low to mid-teens, revenue growth around 10%. Trades at or should trade, I think, at about a two-peg multiple based on terrific 60% margins. So we like the story here.
Yeah. And, as we take a look at this, Tom, sentiment has been at the highest levels. That was some good news, highest levels since 2021, the summer of 2021. It shows the consumer's resilience, and we're seeing more and more of that. Is Visa a name that you like and recommend, Tom? And what about Mastercard for next week? Give us a glimpse into that, please.
Sure. We like both of them. We have Visa. Visa we think is the big elephant that'll continue to do extremely well. I think anytime that the government gets involved with talking about restricting or opening up competition, actually allows this company, because they have such a strong position, especially in security, that when people have an option, they're looking at lower cost transaction processors, they're still going to stick with Visa because Visa gives them fraud protection and a lot of security that any smaller company can't match with their scale. So we like them. We also think they telegraphed that they would have about an 8% revenue growth this last quarter, and that we should expect to see the year improve as it goes through. And they're still talking about probably 11% revenue growth this year, and again, double-digit profit growth. Company with 60% profit margin throws out cash flow. We like that a lot. Mastercard, when people ask us why we own Mastercard and Visa, it reminds me of back 30 years ago when we owned Pepsi and Coca-Cola. They're viewed as almost the same type of company, but they have different niches. And Mastercard has a lot more on international volumes, and they also have a significant amount of revenue from their services to other processors. So companies like, if you're a trucking company and you used Right Express, for example, Mastercard's the backbone behind that and behind many of these other cards and payment services. So we like both of them. Mastercard has historically, the last few years, been growing just a little bit faster, deserves a little bit higher multiple, but we like both of them.
Okay. Thank you for that. Stephen, I know you have a buy on Capital One, American Express, Visa. Those are the ones that you like. Any thoughts that you want to add on to those? But I also am curious on some of the other names that people may be interested in, whether it's Square or PayPal or Affirm or anything like that, that sort of, turns around in your mind, Stephen, that things we should know that you know.
Well, certainly one name you mentioned, Capital One, I think deserves some mention here. Something that on the conference call they said about credit normalization has run its course here, and the credit results have stabilized. So that's something that analysts like myself have been looking for 6 or 7 quarters now, as they've built up reserves. And we think, reserves are in a terrific spot here. So it gave an indication that those loss provisions should moderate in 2024 with that stabilization of credit quality. So that's terrific. And I think, so you mentioned PayPal, obviously they had their event, their innovation event yesterday. They came out with a couple of new items like Fastlane to make the checkout experience a little faster, offering some shopping suggestions based on your history. They're involving some artificial intelligence there. Cash Plus offer, some Venmo improvements, et cetera. I think, this is a stock obviously that's had a terrible time of it, that ran up during the pandemic. I think kind of brought forward a lot of that growth, and now they're kind of paying for that. The innovation event itself was kind of billed as this revolutionize the shopping experience, and may have come up short there, but still, I think good growth trajectory going forward for them, and for Square, who operates in with the micro merchants and so forth, and also has a great niche business.
Yeah, understood. Thank you for that. And I'm glad you mentioned the PayPal event, and when we see these moves into AI and how they may be received. Tom, final thoughts. I mean, pick any of the names that we haven't discussed here. I know you said you liked Visa and Mastercard. What about some of the other names? Discuss some of those that you do or don't like.
Well, we love American Express also because, for one thing, they've historically had a default rate at about a third or a half of what the industry has. They have a high quality product. They're growing, and they've given us some confidence in what we're going to see this next year. In that payment processing space, PayPal is, as Steve mentioned, has really had a disappointing couple of years. It trades at a very low PE ratio. Someone might find that this would be an attractive entry point. But we like WEX, which is the Right Express, and FleetCor, which are business processors for companies that are building infrastructure.
Yeah, I'm glad you're both on with us today. I mean, it's also worth noting that we're seeing a new high here for American Express today as well. Tom Plumb, Stephen Biggar, thank you both very much.